Welcome to Retirement Rescue Radio, a show specifically designed to help retirees and pre-retirees maximize their financial efficiency so you can live the retirement lifestyle you've always imagined. Your host is Nate Miller, investment advisor representative and author of the CPR Retirement Rescue Roadmap. Nate discusses thoughts and ideas from some of today's most knowledgeable professionals in the field of finance. He offers strategies along the way to help you make better financial decisions so you can maximize your retirement. This is Retirement Rescue Radio.
Well, hey there, and welcome to another episode of Retirement Rescue Radio. I'm your host, Nate Miller, and it's coming upon the end of No Shave November, and I have let it grow out quite a bit, but coming up on December, I have the choice. Do I want to get rid of this, or do I want to just roll it into don't shave December? Because we've gotten to the point right now, my beard is about as long as it's ever been. It's to the point where I need to decide whether or not I actually want to trim it back to the level that I normally keep it, or if I actually need to grow it out, because I'm starting to need to actually use product. And guys, I haven't had to use hair product for about 13 years. So I don't even know what's out there anymore. So a little dilemma in the Miller household here. Does the beard go? Does the beard stay? Or does it just go back to the, like kind of the 3-4 day growth length that I like to keep it, with the 3 guard or the 6 guard or whatever it is. So I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air about it. I would like to try it. I think I would want to keep going just to find out how big it can get and still look good. I mean, I'm going to keep it, I'm going to still trim up the neckline. I just might not touch the length for quite a while. So yeah, that's it. I guess if anybody has any opinions on that, just go ahead and email asknate@retirementrescueradio.com and say, keep the beard or get rid of the beard, keep it or get rid of it. So that would be the two. And you can just enjoy watching the growth, or, the next time you see me on here, it'll be gone. So, but we didn't get on here to talk about that. I found a fun article. It's on wealthmanagement.com, and it's how well do you know these famous money quotations? So famous money quotes is really what we're going to be going over here today. And so I'm going to ask the question, or I'm going to say the quote. And then I'm going to add, after a little bit, I'm going to give you who said it. And then I'm going to read a little bit more about that specific person so you can get a little bit of context behind it, or maybe a couple other famous quotes that they're known for as well. And so we'll go ahead and get started here. The very first one is, remember that time is money. So was that John Maynard Keynes, Ben Franklin, Jane Austen, or Winston Churchill? And the answer is Ben Franklin. So Ben Franklin, he's got a few other quotes around money that you're probably going to be familiar with too. One, the most famous one, I think, is a penny saved is a penny earned. Others is our necessities never equal our wants. And he that is of the opinion money will do everything may well be suspected of doing everything for money. That's a good one. That is a good one. He that is of the opinion that money will do everything may well be suspected of doing everything for money. That's one I think everyone needs to watch out for. Okay. Next one. Too many people spend money they earn to buy things they don't want to impress people they don't like. Was that Will Rogers, Oscar Wilde, John F. Kennedy, or Eleanor Roosevelt? And I got this one correct as well. This one was Will Rogers. So he was American humorist, actor, cowboy, newspaper columnist, and social commenter. And he's got a few other quotes here. Don't gamble. Take all your savings and buy some good stocks and hold it till it goes up, then sell it. If it don't go up, don't buy it. Like you're supposed to know that before you buy it, right? Another one, if you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Another one, never let yesterday use up too much of today. I think that's a really good one. Don't let our past influence our future too much, right? All right. Next one. The big money is not in the buying or the selling, but in the waiting. Was that Grace Kelly, Pablo Picasso, Charlie Munger, or Babe Ruth? And I would like to say I got this one correct as well. It is Charlie Munger. So those of you who aren't familiar with Charlie Munger, but probably know his more famous partner, Charlie Munger, is vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway next to Warren Buffett. And he's also known for saying, take a simple idea and take it seriously. It takes character to sit with all that cash and to do nothing. And I always say, I want to know where I would die so I can never go there. It's kind of a funny one. I guess the older you get, as far as Charlie Munger is concerned, the funnier you get. So that's actually kind of funny. Next, the 4 most dangerous words in investing are, this time it's different. And I believe, so Sir John Templeton, Abraham Lincoln, Sumner Redstone, or Jack Welch. And this one was Sir John Templeton. And he's widely considered to be one of the greatest investors of the 20th century. He is best known for his contrarian investing on growth opportunities beyond the United States. So some of his quotes, I never ask if the market is going to go up or down because I don't know. And besides, it doesn't matter. So that's the whole buy and hold scenario. It's like it's gonna come back. Another one, share prices fluctuate more than share values. Yeah, so the underlying companies may not fluctuate near as much as what their stock prices do. And another one, invest at the point of maximum pessimism. That's a good one. All right, another one. It's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for. Was that Jeff Bezos, Nelson Mandela, Queen Elizabeth II, or Robert Kiyosaki? And I know the answer to that one because I've read several of his books. That was Robert Kiyosaki. He, let's see, probably most famously known for Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He's a financial educator known for his, they call it a quote, get rich philosophy, but I've read enough of his books. He doesn't have get rich quick philosophies in there. But yeah, so Kiyosaki is also known for saying there's a difference between being poor and being broke. Broke is temporary, poor is eternal. So that's true because he's talking more about mindset. You can be broke, but there's, gosh, I mean, how many millionaires and billionaires have we heard of that have filed bankruptcy, not even once, but maybe even multiple times? Matter of fact, Robert Kiyosaki is one of those. I can't remember how many times that he has filed bankruptcy, but it was 2 or 3 times before I believe before he really made it huge. And so, yeah, poor is eternal, but broke in the cases of all those guys was temporary because they had the right mindset to be able to make it back. Next, people say that money is not the key to happiness, but I always figured if you have enough money, you can have a key made. Is that Albert Einstein, Joan Rivers, John D. Rockefeller, or Tim Cook? And I didn't actually know the answer to this one, but I guessed right, Joan Rivers. It just sounded like something that, was funny and that she would say. So, all right, she's got another couple ones here. I was smart enough to go through any door that opened. That's a good one. And listen, I wish I could tell you it gets better, but it doesn't. You get better. That's a good one. I like that one. You get better. All right, next, know what you own and know why you own it. Was that Peter Lynch, Mother Teresa, Muhammad Ali, or Elvis Presley? And that one was Peter Lynch. So he was a highly regarded investor, mutual fund manager, philanthropist, and he managed the Magellan Fund at Fidelity Investments for about 13 years, between 77 and 90. He has also said, remember, things are never clear until it's too late. And know what you own and know why you own it. So yeah, that was the one that we just did. All right, next, we're going to say, don't look for the needle in the haystack, just buy the haystack. Was that John Bogle, Thomas Edison, Oprah Winfrey, I can't talk, or Walt Disney? And the correct answer there is John Bogle, or maybe known better as Jack Bogle, is John Clifton Bogle, nicknamed Jack. Actually just passed away here in 2019, so here recently, at the age of 90. He lived from 1929 to 2019, best known as the founder and chief executive officer of the Vanguard Group. How many of us use Vanguard funds? Well, Jack is credited with creating the very first index fund. And so here's a couple more of his quotes. The grim irony of investing, then, is that we investors as a group not only don't get what we pay for, we get precisely what we don't pay for. So if we pay for nothing, we get everything. I don't know about that one. And the greatest enemy of a good plan is the dream of a perfect plan. I've had that one said a couple different ways. Sometimes Best is the enemy of better, and good enough is the enemy of best. So there we go. All right. So a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Was that Charles Bronfman, George Orwell, Jeff Immelt, or John Maxwell? And I was confused with those four because I know I've heard Dave Ramsey say that a few times because I've led his course through our church several different times, and he wasn't one of the choices. So I didn't know the answer to this one. And it's actually John Maxwell. And I was like, huh, interesting, because he's more known for leadership quotes, not necessarily money quotes, but he does have a couple other ones. Given the choice, would you rather save time or money? Most people focus on dollars, but how you spend your time is much more important than how you spend your money. And next is the only thing we can control is what we do in the present. The more we replay yesterday, the further we get from today's opportunities. And so there's another one that basically says, don't focus on the past, focus more on the future. Don't replay the past, really. Maybe that's it, you know? Next, if you look at what you have in life, you'll always have more. If you look at what you don't have in life, you'll never have enough. Is that Neil Armstrong, Tim Cook, Oprah Winfrey, or George Orwell? I have trouble saying Oprah Winfrey. Apparently, there's too many R's in there. But yeah, that is my guess. There was Oprah, and that is the correct one. She's known for saying a couple other ones here. The reason I've been able to be so financially successful is my focus has never, ever for 1 minute been money. Good one. I had no idea that being your authentic self could make me as rich as I've become. If I had, I would have done it a lot earlier. And the next one, my philosophy is that not only are you responsible for your life, but doing the best at this moment puts you in the place for the best, puts you in the best place for the next moment. So yes, we are all responsible for our own lives, not our bosses, not the president, nobody. Next, if you want to know what God thinks of money, just look at the people he gave it to. Was that Henry Ford, Dorothy Parker, Elon Musk, or Edward Ned Johnson? And that one was Dorothy Parker. So she was an author, poet, critic, and a razor-sharp satirist. And she had some scripts that won 2 Academy Award nominations until her involvement in left-wing politics resulted in her being blacklisted. But she does have a few other funny quotes. One of them has nothing to do with money, but it's called, "Men seldom make passes at girls who wear glasses." I don't know, I think that one may have changed since her time. She was born in 1893 and passed in 1967. So I think that one may have changed since then. Another one, I'd like to have money. I'd also like to be a good writer. Those two can come together, and I hope they will. But if that's too adorable, I'd rather have money. And then this one is just a play on words. I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy. I think everybody would agree with that one. Here's another one. Money often costs too much. Who said that? Ralph Waldo Emerson, Ben Franklin, Mark Zuckerberg, or Bill Gates? And the correct answer is Ralph Waldo Emerson. 1803 to 1882, philosopher, essayist, poet, a lot of influence on American writers, and best known for his essay, Self-Reliance. A couple of his other quotes, a foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds, adored by little statesmen and philosophers and divines. There we go. Another one, a man is usually more careful of his money than he is of his principles. Ooh, that's a good one. And it requires a great deal of boldness and a great deal of caution to make a great fortune. And when you have it, it requires 10 times as much skill to keep it. Yes, making money and keeping money are 2 entirely different skills. Heck, I think we just talked about that in another chapter that I was going over of the psychology of money. So absolutely, getting money and keeping money, 2 entirely different skills. All right, next, the process by which banks create money is so simple that the mind is repelled. Is that Ernest Hemingway, Michael Jordan, Dolly Parton, or John Kenneth Galbraith? That is John Kenneth Galbraith. Who is this guy? Born 1908, died 2006. He was an economist and author who wrote The Affluent Society, one of the most influential books of the 20th century. And it says, unlike most economists, his writing was fluid and creative, giving the world such phrases as we've all probably heard of this one, conventional wisdom. So that came originally from him. And he had a way of, with his quotations, that revealed his skepticism about the rationality of humans. So he said, faced with the choice between changing one's mind and proving there is no need to do so, almost everybody gets busy on the proof. And we see that, don't we, every single day on social media. The number of people's minds who have been changed politically on social media stands at a whopping 0. It's like social media is still undefeated on changing someone's mind on what they view as far from a political situation. Yeah. Another one, the only function of economic forecasting is to make astrology look respectable. Nice. All right. Next one, we've got, I will tell you the secret to getting rich on Wall Street. You try to be greedy when others are fearful, and you try to be fearful when others are greedy. And I didn't even have to look at the choices on this one. I knew exactly who said that. So it's either Warren Buffett, Charles Dickens, Yogi Berra, or J. Paul Getty. And the answer to that is Warren Buffett. And there's little argument that Buffett is one of the most successful investors in history, and known as the Oracle of Omaha. Lots of followers that hang on his every single word. He's also got price is what you pay, value is what you get. That's always a good one. You want to give more value than what anything costs. Next, it's only when the tide goes out that you discover who's been swimming naked. It's one of my favorite ones. I've said that one a few times, quoting him. And our favorite holding period is forever. Yeah. So I think I did actually talk about his situation, I think, in the psychology of money and the whole compounding of things. I mean, he started investing very, very young and just never stopped. If you've got 3/4 of a century of investing, you're going to have a lot of money too, right? I mean, if he would have been started investing when he was 30 and retired at 60, we probably would have no idea who Warren Buffett is, but that's not what happened. He's been investing for like 3/4 of a century. All right. I made my money the old fashioned way. I was very nice to a wealthy relative right before he died. Was that Thomas Jefferson, Henry Ford, Malcolm Forbes, or William F. Buckley Jr.? That was Malcolm Forbes. And so Malcolm Forbes, most prominently known as the publisher of Forbes magazine, he lived from 1919 to 1990, and he has a few other quotes. One, a lot of money doesn't make anyone more often right. It just makes him harder to correct. That's true. You can easily judge the character of a man by how he treats those that can do nothing for him. And diamonds are nothing more than chunks of coal that stuck to their job. I like that one. Takes the idea of perseverance and compounding again, and what can be accomplished when given time and focus and perseverance. All right. Next, the intelligent investor is a realist who sells to optimists and buys from pessimists. Was that George Soros, Benjamin Graham, William Faulkner, or Paul McCartney? And that was Benjamin Graham. Who's Benjamin Graham? Well, he was born in 1894, lived at 1976, was a British-born American economist and investor who has influenced virtually every successful investor since. He's widely known as the father of value investing. And he got a couple other quotes here. The investor's chief problem and even his worst enemy is likely to be himself. Yep, most investors' worst enemies are themselves. That's why advisors can be so valuable, is it offers someone who's not as close to the situation as what they are and can come at it from a non-emotional standpoint, because sometimes our emotions, when they are high, tend not to lend to the most successful financial decisions. So it takes a level head that you can bounce ideas off of in order to help out. I mean, even as a financial advisor, it's like I still have mentors and people I go to for questions that I have about certain things. So it's important to have. Next is successful investing is about managing risk, not avoiding it. Managing it, not avoiding it. There's always going to be risk. And the more you know about something, the less risk there is. Next, while money can't buy happiness, it certainly lets you choose your own form of misery. Was that Jeff Bezos, Abraham Lincoln, Jack Welch, or Groucho Marx? And I just said, that's a funny phrase. That has to be Groucho Marx. And that is who it is. It's Groucho Marx. And for those of you who don't know his real name, it's Julius Henry Marx, born 1890, died in 1977. And he's got a few other ones here. Money frees you from doing things you dislike. And since I dislike doing nearly everything, money's handy. Next, blood is not thicker than money. Blood is thicker than water, but blood is not thicker than money. And money will not make you happy, and happy will not make you money. I always like to say another one. It's like, money doesn't buy happiness, but it does buy a jet ski, and I've never been sad on a jet ski. So I don't know. All right. There are people who have money, and there are people who are rich. So what was that? Was that Mother Teresa? Was that Coco Chanel, Andrew Carnegie, or Bill Gates? And honestly, I did not know the answer to this one. I guessed Mother Teresa, and I guessed wrong. It is Coco Chanel. She was a French fashion designer and then the founder of the Chanel brand, of course, with her last name like that, and one of the world's most celebrated businesswomen. She was born 1883, died 1971, and her signature scent Chanel No. 5 remains an iconic product a century after its introduction in 1921. And her observations about money include, whoever said money can't buy happiness didn't know where to go shopping. I think she's a little biased on that one, though. But that kind of goes with what I was saying just a little bit ago. In order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different. And last one for her, there is no time for cut and dried monotony. There is time for work and time for love. That leaves no other time. All right. So that one wasn't money related, but yeah, I like her other one. Whoever said money can't buy happiness didn't know where to go shopping. All right. Money may not buy love, but fighting about it will bankrupt your relationship. Was that Thomas Edison, Oprah Winfrey, Walt Disney, or Michelle Singletary? And I was like, well, we've already had Oprah, so I'm going to go with Michelle Singletary. And that was actually correct. She's a nationally syndicated personal finance columnist for the Washington Post. And she says, you shouldn't invest the money if you're looking to use it within 5 years. Too much risk. And her second one, and last one that's listed here, having a fun time is a good use of your money. All right. So I think some people take that a little too seriously, though, you know? All right. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Oh, come on. Everybody knows this one. It's either David Beckham, Mike Tyson, Marilyn Monroe, or Mark Zuckerberg. Is there even a question? This is Mike Tyson. And, you know, I think he gets a bad rap for biting an ear, okay? But when you think about what he's been able to accomplish in his life and what he had to overcome at an early age, it is a very big success story. And he has a lot of good sayings that lead to success, good mindsets. Another one, there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. Just don't make the same ones. That's very good advice, actually, because I've heard other people. I think Michael Jordan has even been quoted as saying, I became so successful because I failed faster than anybody else. Now, maybe that's Michael Jordan, maybe somebody else. I don't know, but I'm attributing it to him. So another one, fear is the greatest obstacle to learning. And his final one here, everyone that you fight is not your enemy. And everyone who helps you is not your friend. Good advice as well. All right. And I would say, finally, sometimes the dollars and cents don't make sense. Yeah, that was me. I've said that many, many times. And that's just the whole idea that sometimes when you just look at spreadsheets and algorithms, that does not take into consideration the human element and what someone actually wants to do with their life, you know, and the happiness factor, the enjoyment factor of retirement. And so, yeah, sometimes the dollars and cents don't make sense. Like when it comes time to, you know, claim Social Security, the question is, you know, should I claim early? Should I claim late? And that's an individual situation or individual decision for everyone. And, you know, what if it finally boils down to, it doesn't matter as far as claiming early or claiming late on whether or not they're going to have money last their entire life. They've got enough saved up. They're going to be fine. You know, so you don't have to try to figure out each little permutation to squeeze as much money as you absolutely need to out of every single place. Well, then guess what? Would it make them feel happier if they started claiming Social Security maybe a little bit earlier, and instead of having to pull all of that money from their investments, they felt like they could actually spend it. They felt like they could spend that money because it was coming from Social Security, which is going to be replenished every single month, no matter what, and it's not depleting their assets, you know, versus depleting their assets, but then not actually wanting to spend it because now they're like, well, if I spend it now, is it not going to be there later? Because even if someone has shown that their retirement strategy, their income plan, their income strategy is going to last their entire life, they still, in their head might not be able to make that switch that they are going to be okay. And so that is a psychological thing, so that's where the dollars and cents don't necessarily make sense. So if you kept track of how many you made, go ahead and send in how many you made or how many you got right. Sorry. If you got, there was 20 of them total. And then I added my little catchphrase there on the end. So if you got, 10 right, 15 right, whoever got the most that ends up sending in the, an email to Ask Nate at Retirement Rescue Radio, we will compile all of those, I would say, for the remainder of December, all of the answers from who ended up getting the most. And if we have ties, then, you all win as far as however many people tie, then we will send you a copy of the book, The Psychology of Money, that we've been kind of going over here for a little while. So yeah, go ahead and send an email into AskNate at retirementrescueradio.com. Tell us how many you got right. And this is going to be on the honor system, because I have no way of knowing how many you actually did get right. It's just going to be completely the honor system, guys. If somebody says that they got 20 right, I'm going to be a little suspect of that. All right. Going to be a little suspect. So yeah, go ahead and send that in. And then once again, I mentioned, if you do have questions on whether or not your retirement strategy or your income strategy is going to work, well, just reach out to us. That's what we do every single day, is we're helping people figure that out. And so we can create strategies to help 100% whether or not you're going to have enough money, and then you can actually have that confidence to spend on the things that you want to spend in retirement. So that is it. Hopefully you enjoyed this kind of a fun little, article or whatever that we did here. And you had a little fun trying to figure out how many of them you could get right. So that's it, guys. We'll have a couple more of these, I think, before the end of the year. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year if I don't get to talk to any of you face-to-face before then. So take care.